Okay, so another thing I'm going to be talking about is from Rootwork again. A lot of stuff I share is from different books that I've read, and then also I add my own personal opinion, personal views, and experiences, and everything, so that I'm sharing information that I'm getting new with you with old information that I've already acquired. So, anyway, so I'm not going to share everything from this book though, so you really should buy it and check it out if you're interested in hoodoo. But one of the sections in her book, in Tayana Lee McKillar's, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, book, her rootwork book, is the idea of spirits. She talks about the renewed interest in spirits or a growing interest in spirits as guides and as something to help you along with your path and different things you're doing. So she's talking about spirits of the dead, and she's talking about people, things, beings that were once humans, and basically their soul that is coming back and helping you. She's seeing it from a Christian perspective because I'm assuming she's Christian, or from a Buddhist perspective, because a lot of practitioners are Christian. So if you believe in reincarnation, this isn't really going to fit, depending on your view on how or when you're reincarnated, yada yada yada. Her view basically is that when you die, your soul is still here, not necessarily here on this plane, but it still exists, and that a lot of these souls are people that have passed are willing to help us for our own personal growth, and then they also, some of them have their own sort of growth they need to go through. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, the first thing she talks about is highly elevated beings. These beings can do no harm, no bad, nothing of that nature. They've gone to, basically, when I think of them, I'm thinking of like the Buddha or something, somebody that's reached nirvana in a sense. But then again, they haven't gone somewhere else. They're still here. They've reached a certain level. I guess like the highest level you can achieve for human soul, I'm guessing. And yeah, they can be here to guide you and whatnot. I'm assuming, or I'm not assuming, but well, I guess not. That maybe these spirits are older spirits that have been here for, um, that were either lived a really spiritual life and have attained a certain spiritual level in their one life, or something that they've gained in their new form after death. She explains that basically like compares humans with these souls as water turning into steam. Um, but the next thing I got on my list, I'm sorry, yeah, because I won't forget, is so the highly elevated ones, their sole purpose is to protect and guide the living. Then there's ancestors, which are past family members. This case, she could be talking, or with this, you could be talking about, say, your grandma that just died, maybe, or even trying to connect with ancestors that have passed a long time ago. I know they're in the Norse sort of idea. There's the idea of the Dizir, which is either a certain family member that passed on, that a certain ancestor that's passed on that's protecting you personally, or that protects your family personally. So it could be somebody that's passed a long time ago that's been with your family or with you, depending on your path and your personal perspective of this. Um, she says that, yeah, like I just mentioned, some of them could have died a long time ago, somebody that you've never known in your life. And that, but the ones that you did know in your life, if you try to call on them or try to have them help you in this life, it all depends on your relationship with them prior to their death and everything. And also that you need to remember that all these dead beings, these spirits, these souls, were once people, and so a lot of them still hold the same prejudices they may have held, or bitterness or whatnot, sort of things like that, because they still retain some of their human essence, in a sense, I suppose you could say, according to her. Um, Then she goes on to talk about spiritual guides. She says, these are the souls of people, related or unrelated, that have chosen to help you either for their own spiritual growth, yours, or both. Um, she says it's similar to like a work study program in the spiritual world. Oh, what she mentions here is another thing with spirits, because I've read in different spirit books that never to really fully trust a ghost or anything because they could trick you. I've read different things with people talking about when they travel to the underworld or whatever, that not always to believe everything that you're seeing either, because it could be sort of like a trick in a way. So before you give your complete trust over to one of these spiritual guides, that could have been a passed on person, that you need to work with them first and figure out if you can really trust them. And I guess it's up to you to decide if you can or you can't. Your own gut feeling or personal experiences working with this guide. Okay, the last one, she talks about misguided or dark spirits. Ooh. um, these are the souls of people who died unhappy, led unhappy lives, or just negative in life. She says that, contrary to popular belief, these things don't intentionally hurt people. She says some of them do, but that just because they were unhappy in this life and they're kind of like this dark force sort of thing, um, like like icky collection of energy. I see it kind of just like this makes you feel kind of gross being around them sort of thing is what I'm feeling. Um, does just because they're that way doesn't mean that they go about intentionally trying to mess things up, cause chaos or whatnot. But that's some of them you can call upon to help you with darker sort of spells and whatnot. It depends on the spirit itself that you've called upon and whatnot. But she says that some of them are unhappy because they no longer have a body and they're confused. So maybe these are people who just died in some sort of like accident or something, so they're confused. So I wouldn't really recommend ever working with a dark or misguided spirit. I mean, it depends on you. Some people think it's cool to be all dark and spooky, so they want to work with dark forces. But if you don't understand them, and they were once human, well, according to this, I'm sure some people believe in demons and other things as well. But for these past on spirits who are dark forces, um, they were human, they make mistakes too. They're only going to give you advice based on their own experiences. They still hold prejudices, they're still troubled souls, and I would not recommend working with them. I mean, there's various different ways to work with souls too. If you want to work with the good souls, I'm not going to list them right now because it's late and I need to get back to homework. But I'm sure you can Google some, or there's different books. I know Ray Buckland has a book on spirit communication. Tiana Lee McKellar talks about some different things you can work with. She talks about spirit or ancestor altars and whatnot. And yeah, so that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching my video.